Hello? Hey, Brandi, how's it going?
Good. You know, it has been exactly 7 days since we met at the Daybreaker.
Ah, yes, you're right.
Yes.
Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yep.
And I believe I probably met you at approximately 7:07-ish, perhaps. And you were just arriving. You had all of your camera stuff on you. And I'm a hugger with Daybreaker. I'm like the official hugger.
Oh, you
so
were
I
at the hugging station. I was
No,
thinking of the time
I wasn't at the hugging station. I was the hugging
yourself
station.
to me at the end of the Daybreaker.
Oh, yeah.
That's how far back my memory goes.
Yeah.
Is at the very end of the Daybreaker, this little Brandi with a sailor hat. You're wearing a sailor hat, weren't you?
Yeah.
Came up and you're like, "Hey, I'm Brandi," and I was like, "Hey, I'm Danny." Mm-hmm. And then that was the start of it. Cheers.
Cheers. Salud.
Salud.
And since then, we have performed, not kidding, in front of at least 10 to 15 people, singing a couple little duets.
On the streets of Rhino, on the streets of downtown Denver.
Yeah, we went to 3 fashion events in the span of 2 days.
Yeah, that's more fashion events than I've been to. You probably double the amount of fashion events I've been to.
Huh.
Maybe more or less.
Yeah, you know, I doubled it for myself as well because that was a lot for me. Ooh, I feel the warmth coming down. But I'm so glad that you came with me because it made it so much more fun. Those are fun events, but it's fun to just be silly and be free with other people who are little freelings.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And here we are a week later creating our podcast just like we said we would.
Yes. Yeah, and as of right now, we're the Danny and Brandi Show. I am not Danny. I'm Brandi.
And I'm not Brandi. I'm Danny, just for clarification.
Yep.
And we wanted to start this podcast mainly to, I don't think we ever really fully decided on that. I'll give you my perspective.
Okay.
What I love about podcasts the most are, there's a few things. It's something that you can do when you're driving, when you're walking, when you're working out, when you've got some time to kill before you go to bed.
When you're in traffic.
When you're
doing monotonous design work that you're in that groove, but you're also educating and entertaining yourself through what's coming through your ears.
And then, education.
Education, real important. Yes. Edumatainment?
Comedian.
Is that something? Edumatainment?
Edumatainment. I think we just coined that term. Huh. So hopefully this will be a podcast about edumatainment. Edumatainment? Edumatainment. And then it also, to not feel so alone in the world and in the universe. You can get to know characters like Brandi and
Danny.
Yeah, that's right. So I think that's kind of the check boxes for me in creating a podcast. What about you?
I think that for me, creating this particular podcast is really just about us sharing what's going on in our minds and being able to share experiences with the world, with each other, and also really just being free with the things that we have to say and being free with the music that we come up with and simultaneously just shining a light on the world in the darkness and allowing the darkness to shine on us. I think that those two things really correlate. You need the dark and you need the light, and we can be both.
We are the darkness.
We are the darkness.
And we are the light.
Instead of condemning the light, instead of condemning the dark, just turn on the light.
Yeah.
Like this.
If you have Philips Hue like I do, you can tell Siri to, hey Siri, turn off the lights. Okay. That one's not connected to Philips Hue. Hey Siri, turn on the lights. Done. Love it.
Siri, thank you.
Oh,
We've got Olive, my three-legged tripod.
And she thinks her name is Siri, apparently. And then the other point would be, I just think that we're hilarious, energetic people.
Yeah,
that
we're pretty fun.
You need to get to know.
Yes.
So.
And we want to get to know you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Yes. And thank you very much.
So, did you want to pull up some notes about some of your talking points?
Well, first, yes, actually I do. But before I do, I would like to ask you a question, Danny. If you were stranded on an island,
Yep.
what 3 things would you bring?
I feel like you can really dive into some deep holes about, well, what are the logistics on this island?
Right, don't go that deep. Just
Do I have like a solar panel that I can recharge, or is that
Right.
going to be one of my things that I have to bring? You know, like if I wanted to bring a camera to make little short films, or a long film, I guess if I'm on the island for quite some time, I would probably need to recharge that camera.
Okay.
Maybe we just say we've got infinite power for whatever we want.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah.
I think
I don't know how to get to the notes on my Slack.
Oh, yeah.
I'm new to this whole Slack thing, but apparently it's the wave of the
Advertisement
future.
for Slack, in
Yeah.
case you guys want to give us money. We just started using this, and somebody doesn't know how to use it.
I don't know how to use it because I'm not a millennial.
You click on that top part
All right.
where it says TI.
So
Because
today, Danny said to me, I called him and left him a voicemail. And he said, I can tell
I
that
called you
you're...
back.
Yeah, when you called me back, I can tell that you're not a millennial because you left a voicemail.
Am I wrong?
No, you're totally right. I guess millennials don't leave voicemails. They Snapchat message,
Yeah, DM.
DM.
I think I go with text message. I'm on the way out being millennial, I think. It's all about these Gen Zers. Is it Gen Z?
Zers? I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Let's
don't
not
know
talk
either.
about
Yeah,
that
I don't
anymore.
want to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. No-brainer. Guitar. Gotta have it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I might bring
okay.
more musical instruments to this island, but definitely guitar.
Okay.
I would definitely bring my espresso machine. But I would need coffee with that espresso machine and electricity
Okay.
and clean water. So,
Right.
yeah, I hope this
Okay.
island has infrastructure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say that you already get a prepare pack. Your prepare pack has...
Do I have shelter?
Actually, you know what? This question's a little too...
Yeah, it goes down a very
it does.
deep hole.
It does.
Guitar, I need my coffee. And then, what would that? I love making media, like film. Mm-hmm. So let's just say a camera.
Okay.
But, you know, I would need a computer and all that. Anyways,
Okay.
3 things, real quick.
Okay. Machete, guitar, and journal. My journal does come with a built-in everlasting pen.
Machete, why would you need a machete?
Just to like cut down things, create shelter, chop open the coconuts.
So we don't have shelter.
Well, on my island where I'm stuck, I don't have shelter.
Okay, I've got a fully functioning island retreat at mine. So
Totally two
clearly I
different
can just plug in my espresso machine and edit my videos that I create with my really nice film camera. I won't do film. I'm going to go with a nice cinema camera.
Yeah.
Brand
Next.
unknown at this point. Well, it's funny that you mentioned machete because one of the things that I wanted to talk about, being that we are in Colorado, I feel like having the locality in our podcast would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
And if we could just talk about this brief story that I came across today or this morning
Okay.
or last night, I forget. This was crazy. And this happened in Fort Collins. I don't know if you heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it
Wow.
with our viewers.
Okay.
And
Or our listeners. Our viewliners.
Our viewliners.
Our listers.
So, a man was running by himself Monday. Okay, so this one 2 days ago. in the Horse-Tooth Mountain open space near Fort Collins, Colorado, when he heard something behind him.
Dun, dun, dun.
When he turned around, an 80-pound mountain lion attacked him. Colorado Parks and Wildlife officials said. The young lion bit the runner's face and wrist, but he managed to break free and kill the lion in self-defense. I like how they just straight up got rid of the mountain lion by this point. They got rid of mountain. It wasn't a fucking lion. I mean, as soon as they start saying lion, I'm picturing like a fully maned, like 500-pound lion from Africa. Anyways, and killed the lion in self-defense, the agency said. A necropsy. Necropsy. I don't know. I've never heard that before. Somebody that inspects dead confirmed the animal was suffocated, officials said Tuesday. The lion, Africa. Here's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen. We may just occasionally break out in the song.
Yeah.
It's a real possibility.
Yeah, there's a 99.9% chance that that's going to happen. But keep going.
Yeah. The lion, Mufasa, which was less than a year old, tested negative for rabies.
Oh, that's good.
Good to know.
He was just less than a year old and now he's dead?
He was a young juvenile lion.
I didn't know that the guy killed him.
That's the crazy part. This guy straight up, when
Strangled him.
when he couldn't get the lion to, go away from doing this, and obviously the lion just bit his face and wrist. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to see pictures of this guy. Anyways, he suffocated. He strangled the lion.
That's crazy. So that's where we live. We live in Colorado, where in Horsetooth Reservoir area, a man Horsetooth Mountain was attacked by a mountain lion and killed him.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. So when you ever are in a position where you might get attacked by a mountain lion, what you need to do is act big, and then you just punch them. Like you just get straight up into a brawl with them.
Actually, they did talk about what you're supposed to do when you see a mountain lion, and maybe this is some useful infotainment that we can provide the reader.
The reader? Are we going to do closed caption and you have to read this?
We're going to have somebody type up the minutes. Carol, type the minutes. Type the minutes.
And she actually types on one of those courthouse typewriters, so it's all in abbreviation. It's pretty cool.
I lost this part of where they tell you what you're supposed to do.
Well, what you need to do is act big and then punch it.
Strangle it, apparently.
Yeah.
I think I can remember from memory.
Okay.
That's what memory is.
Your memory just now jogged in.
Yeah, it just now jogged in.
It's just like...
So, never crouch down or look small or turn away from the lion. Uh-huh. If it does start aggressing towards you, if that's a word that we can say, they say you should throw things at it, but try not to, crouch down too much. Grab that rock. Look big.
Okay, yeah.
Throw it at the lion. And you're not supposed to look big like you do with a bear.
Oh.
Because I think they'll think that you're threatening it. And you're supposed to talk calmly and firmly. So
it's something like this. Okay, I'll be the mountain lion approaching you, and you do a reenactment of what to do if a mountain lion is coming upon you. Rawr, rawr.
No, none of that. No, I will not accept that. And if you keep coming towards me, I'm going to take this rock, but not crouch down too much, and throw it at you. Just throw rocks. Lion.
So you'll see that reenactment on National Geographic because it was pretty good. Okay, cool. Well, that was
All
great
right,
news
yeah.
about where we live.
Yeah, I'm glad that we can incorporate that part of the talk in there.
Today is February 6th.
Yeah, it is.
February 6th, and we have a lot of snow outside. It's 8 degrees outside, and it's absolutely beautiful. The roads are starting to ice up. People are driving like hunyucks, so you need to just kind of go slow.
Hunyucks. What does that mean?
Well, it's something my grandpa and my dad said, and I just picked it up. But I don't necessarily know if it's offensive or not, so I apologize if it is.
Okay, yeah, we'll have our people check on that.
Okay.
Carol! Hunyucks!
Look it up! Huny.
What is she even doing back there?
I don't know. I think she's filing.
Yeah, okay. Well, moving on.
Moving on.
You know, I am a firm believer that you shouldn't just rattle in podcasts. And, you know, let's really get down to the core and focus.
Focus. Which, by the way, sometimes I have a really hard time focusing because I get like easily excited about many different things at the same time.
Well, you're going to have to quelch that down for our podcast.
Quelch it?
Yeah, quelch it down.
Okay. Quelch. Is that a word?
Yeah, you got to quelch it. Huh. It may be a biochemistry thing. You're supposed to quelch something with, anyways.
All right, Danny, by the way, so tell me about, it went down to 7 degrees. I want to hear about what you studied in college because it absolutely fascinates me.
Well, hopefully the viewer finds this and listener finds this fascinating. I was gonna be a doctor when I went to college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was like, I could always default back to becoming a doctor. So, like any other person, I just went for biochemistry. And then when I was like, this seems a little light in the workload, I decided to pick up another major in molecular cellular developmental biology.
Wow.
And a minor in chemistry. And I was very close to minoring in Chinese too. But as you may hear in the future, my Chinese is very bad.
It's not
very
so
bad.
good.
No, it's very, very, very bad. I know how to say very few things, and my tones are always off. So, ni hao ma.
Ni hao ma.
So yeah, I studied that, and honestly,
is that still going?
Oh yeah, we're
okay,
good.
Cool.
Honestly, the best class that I ever took was acting for non-majors.
Ooh.
I had the most fun with that, and I should have just listened to my gut and become an actor.
But that's the really fun thing about life is you can become whatever you want whenever you want. You have your whole life.
Very true.
And I think that that's also another fun thing about the Danny and Brandi Show is we can literally start acting whenever we want. And like, I do feel like sometimes life is just like one gigantic improv. And for me, it's really fun to improv or just to like do an accent when you're talking to someone, just to kind of see like what other people are like when you bring them out of their comfort zone. And I think that you're a great actor. I mean, just from hanging out with you the past week, like you can do many characters. You're a natural actor, so you are acting. You just haven't been in any major motion pictures or Broadway yet.
Not yet.
Yet.
Well, like I always say, that the stage be life and life be your stage, and you shall find yourself in the play.
That one sounds to me kind of like Hannibal Lecter.
Ah, hello, Clarice.
Would you like to put the skin on the basket? Or whatever. Anyway, go on.
It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Okay,
yes,
anyway,
yes.
I don't know why we got into Hannibal, but, okay, so, molecular cellular developmental biology. Wow. That was, I actually did research 4 years in college. I did an extra year so I could finish my honors thesis. And it was about a very boring topic. It was very interesting while I was doing it, but whenever I describe it to people, their eyes glaze over. So I should just skip. What is? I want to hear the subject.
Your eyes are gonna think they're
Don't
already
tell me
starting to
what my
glaze over,
eyes-
and I'm looking at them right now. All right. This research that we did was on alternative splicing.
Ooh.
So DNA of an amoeba. Let's say it's this long.
Wow. Okay.
That's the chromosome of the amoeba. But if you look at a human's chromosome and all the genetic information,
Olive's about to jump on your couch.
don't you even think about it, Olive?
Don't think about it.
Olive,
No, Olive.
sit. Good girl.
The show has been
Good
interrupted by Olive.
So amoeba's DNA, human's DNA. And you may think, why is a human's DNA so much smaller than a simple-celled organism like an amoeba? When we have such complexity, we can get on our microphones, we can make a podcast. And what it is that when you have DNA, you have little helpers that come along and they go, roop, boop, 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 boop. And from that DNA, they make a RNA copy. So this little RNA then gets transformed into a protein, and the protein then goes and makes that creature.
Wow.
So DNA, boop, 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 boop,
Yep.
and you grab these little sections along the DNA, and it goes to make the amoeba. Now, with the human, it baffled people as to why is our DNA so much shorter when we're such a complex multicellular organism.
Right.
And what they found is that there's this thing called alternative splicing. So you've got your DNA, it's shorter. You have that little buddy create the RNA, which then would get transformed into protein. But they found that before it gets made into a protein, there's these little guys that come along and they make a snip, 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 snip to the mRNA. And they put different sections together. Sometimes sections get discarded. Sometimes sections come together. So instead of going A, B, C, D on this section of mRNA, it may go A, C, D or B, D, E, G, Z. So you can then have so many more multitudes of different products from that short piece
DNA,
of DNA. Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is that the RNA and the LMNOP come together, and that even though the amoeba is a lot longer, with the shorter human DNA, the way that you can combine all of the miscellaneous whatnots, you actually have many, many different options, basically.
So many options. And then you create this very fascinating, complex organism
Called us.
or fruit flies. And instead of taking humans and grinding them up and just dissecting their testes and then
Like Hannibal
looking at them
Lecter.
under microscopes, I would use Drosophila melanogaster, which is a fruit fly. And that way you can multiply them. You can take out sections of their genes. You can take out things that you think might be important to this process. You can breed them. You can crossbreed them. Then you can basically chop them up. You can dissect their testes and find out if their sperm motility is there or if you've affected it through alternative splicing. And you can do this at such a large scale because fruit flies just freaking multiply like flies. We use fruit flies to study that. So I was literally like harvesting thousands and thousands of disgusting little fruit flies. I put them under CO2 and they would fall asleep. And in their sleep, I would separate the males from the females and the different phenotypes from the different phenotypes. And then I'd grind them up. I'd look at their...
eat them.
Yeah, I'd fry them and eat them very crunchy. And I would look at their RNA and their DNA.
And testicles.
We were studying the protein called PTB, which is a polypyrimidine track binding protein. Anyways.
Wow.
Enough of that.
Look, my
What did
eyes
you
didn't glaze over.
Study.
My eyes did not glaze over. I found that to be very
They look a
interesting.
little glazy.
Do they?
They're a little glazed.
Well, they're not. They're not glazy. I studied speech communications with an emphasis on organizational communications and communication theory. Graduating at the top of my class with honors. I even got to wear special cords.
Ooh. I had special cords too.
Oh,
Summa
come
cum
on.
laude.
No biggie.
Yeah.
But my first 3 years of college, I was actually totally failing out. I almost got kicked out of college. My priorities were skateboarding and snowboarding, and I just was not into school, was not into anything that I was studying until I had this speech teacher tell me that he just wanted me to speak about what I was passionate about. And I'm like, I'm passionate about the Beastie Boys. Can I speak about them? So he said, are you passionate about them? And I said, yes. And so I did my first presentation on the Beastie Boys. And Dr. Carl Johnson at Metro State College of Denver completely changed my life because he showed me that if I just am passionate about anything that I do, like I want to do it. And so I ended up going from a 1.7 accumulative GPA to graduating with honors. And I just want to encourage all you listeners and viewers out there, like, live every day passionately, because it makes life so much more fun when you just have that, like, that excitement in your heart to do anything. And it could be in the smallest of things. It could be learning something new on the ukulele or like making up a fun accent. But like, man, life is fun.
And limited.
Yeah.
We only have so long on this planet.
Yeah.
And you might as well be doing something that you really love doing.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself in a job because you're like, oh, well, I need the money, or just, it's what I can do right now, realize that whatever you're doing that you hate or that you don't enjoy, or, there's going to be, a percentage of a job, even if you love it, of things that you don't like doing. But if you find yourself falling into that hole of, okay, this job, like 90%, 80%, even 70, even
40.
Yeah, 40, 30% of the stuff I don't enjoy doing.
Oh.
You're going to only get better at doing that stuff that you don't like if you're doing it over and over and over.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And you're building your
toolbox.
Yeah, your toolbox, your why am I only thinking of CV? And that's an Australian term that I learned. Instead of
oh yeah, your curriculum vitality.
Is that what that stands for?
Yeah, like your resume.
Your resume.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the word resume.
Yeah.
But instead I thought of like
CV.
CV, because I went in Australia and instead of saying resume, they say CV, mate.
And that conversation always came up, right? Like they were like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, just working on my CV.
Yeah, working on my CV, mate. Gonna like give it to a handful of people. I think, and I may be biased or have a just very narrow scope of Australians, but I feel like they have a very healthy work-life balance. And probably much of the world outside of the United States does. But I feel like, I've got friends that work in Australia and they're like, oh yeah, like I'm putting in my notice, and like everybody, they have like, well, this isn't a great example of good work-life balance, but basically she put in her notice and it was like 8 weeks later, but like everybody's so cool with it. And like, it's not like, oh, 2 weeks from now I'll be gone and everybody hates that I'm leaving and stuff. They're like so cool about like, oh man, you're going for a new job? That's great, mate. Like, oh, that's great. Or like, yeah, they're like, there's always another job out there. Not to mention the amount of vacation days they get. Crazy.
Really?
Yeah. I know a lot of people over there that will just take a straight up month off.
Oh my gosh.
What you doing there?
I'm putting on my sweatshirt.
Ah.
By the way, this sweatshirt was literally my brother's in 1988. Look at this.
Show it to the crew over there.
It's T&C Surf Designs. And the collar is totally worn out. It's one of my favorite sweatshirts. I'm going to put the headphones down for a second.
Yep. Did you KonMari that?
Um,
Where does it stand on the KonMari scale?
Definitely a 10.
Yeah, it brings you great joy.
It brings me great joy.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Same with this hat. Same with my makeshift suspender. Like everything I have on.
You're just a fashionista.
I'm not. The thing of it is I'm not really though.
No. Which brings me to my next point.
Okay.
Which I'd like to talk about. I'll let you get your earphones on.
And I'm back.
Fashion Denver.
Yeah.
This is your baby.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Well,
Tell us about it.
Well, right now, Fashion Denver is no longer a baby, but getting ready to have its learner's permit and getting a driver's license. Fashion Denver turns 15 this spring.
Oh, that is, definitely not a baby.
Yeah, it's not
It's
a baby.
Full-grown teenager.
Yeah, totally. Which is exciting because there's so much more in store for Fashion Denver. But in a nutshell, back in 1999, I started a handbag business just for fun. And then flash back in third grade, I was obsessed with making paper purses, and I'd call myself the paper purse police. So flash forward again to 1999, and I ended up starting a real handbag business online during the cusp of the .com boom. And just a few months later, I was selling internationally because of the internet. And to make a long story short,
What year was that?
1999.
Wow.
Yeah. I owe school.
God, what was I doing in 1999?
Yeah, what were you doing? You were probably in
I would have
high
been
school?
just getting to high school. I would have graduated from 8th grade, which I always joke about to my sister because she was like, I'm graduating high school. And we're 4 years apart. And so I was like, I'm graduating too. I'm graduating from junior high.
Aww.
And that would just piss her off. It was great.
So I started a handbag business, and it just kind of took off, and I ended up moving to California and doing this.
California, here we
yeah.
come.
I ended up doing these fashion markets and traveling to Paris, and anyway, 2004. This story, like it's a journey, but
well, we've got plenty of time in the future to really dive into these stories. But yeah,
I took all that handbag business building and ended up starting Fashion Denver as a way to help other local designers start up their businesses. So I'm very passionate about just seeing people again be passionate, and so I just happened to have done that in the fashion community. And it's funny because I actually don't really consider myself to be fashionable. I consider myself to just I really love the clothes that I have, and I love putting them together. And for me, every little piece is like a special little story. And I feel like our bodies can be a canvas for our creativity. And it's just fun to express myself with the random pieces that I find at the thrift store or the local designers that I've met along the way.
Well, and I think you do have the eye for fashion, and I think you have a tendency to play yourself down on this from the 7 days that I've known you. But I think you have a great eye for taking whatever it is, hodgepodge of items from a thrift store or used old items or new stuff or something that's hot and fashionable, but you've managed to put them together in a way that tells your audience or tells just people on the street who you are, and it's interesting and it's pleasing to the eye, and it's I think ahead of everybody's time. So
thank you so much.
I think
I think that really just comes down to accepting who I am, deep down and not even so deep down. I'm kind of a nerd. And it's just being okay with being a nerd and not being afraid. And when you're not afraid to be who you are fully, it makes fashion even more fun because you're not afraid to do something that no one's ever done, or you know what I mean? Know what I mean, Vern? Know what I mean?
Listen, one nerd to another.
Yeah.
I mean, I nerd out on all kinds of things, microphones and cameras, and iPads and Apple things.
Technology.
Quite the fanboy. Technology. I'm a big old giant nerd.
Yeah, I think being a nerd's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I think I really lost that accent there.
Well, it's okay.
I think that nerds, obviously don't have it as easy growing up in our institutions like high school or junior high for that matter. But then we become the really interesting people in the future that are actually doing cool stuff. And all the freaking jocks and, people that were the cool ones back in the day, they're like accountants and not that there's anything wrong with being an accountant.
And some jocks
we're
really...
kooky. All right. We're real kooky.
We're real kooky. But you know what? I used to be a big nerd, and I was teased like far into high school. And I was like this really skinny, awkward girl and like with like really snarled, crazy teeth. And like I cut my bangs too short and I had big old upside down glasses on. And I was just awkward. So just to like be okay with that awkwardness now and see how just always being true to myself, no matter what that awkward is. It wasn't like I suddenly got cool. It was more like I suddenly was like, this is who I am, world.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Classic Sabrina.
Yeah. I like this birthmark on you.
Oh yeah. I put
Show
that
the
on
audience.
every day. I just put a little,
I got one right here.
I put it there all by myself. Nice.
Some people think it looks like a piercing.
Oh yeah. When you do that with like your head cocked back, kind of like,
what's up?
What up, brah? Something you said though. Oh yeah. I was like on the other side of the spectrum, not still nerd, but I was very chubby and I was the Asian boy. And I'm sure that you can relate to this too, growing up in Colorado where we are surrounded by whitey people.
Yeah, total white. Nothing wrong with white people, but it is pretty much. Yeah, I'm not. But anyway.
But people saw me as being, the Asian chubby kid, and there was, I could count on like one hand how many kids there were that were Asian in my school, and so definitely felt different than everybody else, and outside of those circles, managed to like. Not be like, exiled by the cool kids or whatever.
Right.
But I definitely didn't fit in with them and never hung out with any of them and go to any parties or whatever. But, there comes a point, I think, when you're young like that, you just want to fit in with everybody else.
Yeah.
I remember there was another kid at our elementary, Eric Lee, and he just came to our school, I think when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, and he was like the one other Asian boy.
One other
that
Asian
just happened
boy.
To show up. Actually, and he's half as well. And as soon as he came to school, everybody started pointing at us and be like, oh, look, they're brothers. And I was like, no. And I guess my mom, I don't remember any of this, but my mom said that I came home just like crying and bawling, saying that like, I hate Eric. I don't know like why he's here. Just because he was the person that like made me realize what I looked like. It was like stepped outside of my body and said like, oh yeah, he is different.
Yeah.
And so am I.
And then you hated him the way that people were hating on you?
And well, I think that I hated being associated with him because he was different. And I just, I didn't have any other Asian kids in my class, especially not boys. I think there was like Katie Meagle she was also Asian.
Katie Meagle, if you're lining, give us a shout out.
Yeah,
Let us know what you're up to.
At DNB, hashtag DNB, Twittergram. It'll exist. But yeah, and then there comes a point when you're like, oh, I am different and I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to embrace it. And I think I'll never forget, like, when my best friend Brian, oh, there you go, there's that chair. He was like, man, I wish I was different like you. Like, I'm tired of just being like everybody else. And I was like, yeah, it is cool. It is cool to be different and unique and have this nice dark skin.
Yeah.
Darker skin.
Darker
skin. Anyways.
Yeah. So that's the story of a half Asian one of 3 at a school, Katie and Eric and
Katie
Danny.
and Eric, if you hear us out there.
And you know what? Just on a quick note, I'm adopted from the Philippines. My brother's adopted from
Just a
Vietnam.
quick note. Let me tell you about this orphanage that I grew up in the Philippines. No, this is a great story.
Yeah, but we can save that one. But my brother and I are both Vietnamese and Filipino, and our parents are white. So it wasn't until my early adulthood that my parents told me that they actually experienced a lot of discrimination having 2 Asian kids. And they always kept that from us because I never...
Yeah, it's not something
there was a couple times in school where teachers and adults like were kind of rude to me, but yeah. But anyway, so Asians. We've got that Asian persuasion.
We're also a very silent race, I feel, where you just kind of like whoosh underneath the currents of politics. And,
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, whoa. That's a really interesting...
Yeah. Huh. And we don't really get that much flack because there's this like model American ideal of what Asians have kind of adopted, and we haven't been persecuted for a lot of negative things,
right?
And but at the same time, we're not very vocal in the political sphere.
That is actually really
that's
a great point.
We got that Ronnie Chang out there. #, Ronnie Chang. # Daily Show. He's hilarious.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, he's pretty funny and gets involved politically. But anyways, anyway. No S in anyway.
Yeah, that's a good one. Anyways.
Anyway.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Oh, wow. I think I might say anyways.
I do say anyways, but you're not supposed to.
Oh, all right.
It's not proper English.
All right. Well, is it saying anyway? Is that even...
Anyway,
but is that like a proper thing to say? Like, what is it? Anyway, ...
Anyway, comma. I don't know.
Oh. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, comma. I think, there's so much to talk about. I really wanted to talk about what makes Denver a special place. But I think we might save that for later.
Okay.
Because we've already talked about a really special thing that happened in Colorado.
Right.
Which was a mountain lion attack and suffocation, which is very sad because they are beautiful creatures.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, it is crazy to think that a human can like take down a mountain lion.
An 80-pound. But it's an 80-pound mountain lion.
It's like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a really big dog.
How much does Olive weigh?
40 pounds. It's like half of a...
Yeah.
It's a... Yeah. But anyway.
It's sad.
Anyway.
Nonetheless, nobody wants to see a mountain lion die.
Right.
But there is a part of me that thinks, oh, I strangled a cougar with my own bare hands. I took the mountain lion and I strangled him with my own fists.
Right.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways. Any last positive thoughts that we want to send these guys out with?
I would say focus on the essential, eliminate the rest. Like, what in life matters to you, and are you doing something about it every single day? And then all these other little details of things that can sometimes keep you from doing what you're meant to do, like, get rid of them. So focus on the essential, eliminate the rest.
Ooh. Focus on the essential, eliminate the rest.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes that could be like toxic relationships, just like habits that just are not getting you anywhere and are keeping you stuck. There's a lot of things that I think keep us from focusing on the essential.
Is there an example as we close that you can give us of something essential that you're focusing on and something that you're eliminating?
Well, one of the things that I really want to focus on is music and spreading joy, and we're doing just that.
Yeah.
things that I have like chose. Oh, for example, my office space, my studio, my creation station that we got to jam out at last week. Like every season when I'm just going through different times in my life, I like to rearrange everything so it's conducive to how I want my life to be. So I rearranged my office to make it more inspiring to make music, to make it more inspiring to record fun things. And I feel like when we actually take the time and make the effort to just rearrange life, then that's when you start to focus on those things and not be distracted by, I don't know. What's your biggest distraction?
Look at that over there. Oh, just kidding.
You got me. You got me.
Well, I mean, I don't know about distraction, but one thing that I eliminated all of January and, most of January, I think there was one day, the first day of January, that I drank a Moscow Mule with my buddies, but subsequently threw it up that night because we got food poisoning.
Oh.
Yeah, very bad. That was my kickoff of 2019.
That was no fun.
But then I was going on a cleanse for that month, and I was like, oh, I've already thrown up everything that I've put into my body.
Yeah, that's a
January
good restart.
1st, and I was going to start on the 4th. I was just like, yeah, it starts today.
Yeah.
And I didn't drink until, I think my initial end date was the 30th. So I went for... what is that, 29 30 days?
That's
no
great.
Alcohol.
That's awesome.
And
I
it
met
was
you your
awesome.
first day back to alcohol.
Yes.
No, actually,
you
the
celebrated.
Yeah.
You celebrated with me.
Yep.
Drinking my first wine.
I don't know if that was necessarily a celebration because I was kind of like with you on the like, yeah, good job. Might as well go into February not drinking. But the red wine was great and the adventures were fun and c'est la vie.
So we got a couple of free beers too.
Oh yeah. So we had my ukulele and Danny's guitar.
Ukulele.
And we were singing this really great song from The Jerk that you've probably heard of, and we might just play it for you.
I'm sure you'll hear a rendition of it sooner or later.
And this woman that was walking with her boyfriend or husband or brother or best friend, we don't really know. Is that a pull-up bar?
It is.
Focus. We were singing and she's like, hey, will you guys sing the whole song? And we're like, sure. So of course we sang the whole song.
Of course we will. We've been dying for this moment. We crave attention.
No, but she paid us $5.
$5.
And then we took that to Ratio Brewery.
We were going to buy a beer with our $5 bill.
Right. But then my friend James bought our beers and we tipped him $5. And then we didn't drink either of our beers, really.
I mean, I probably drank like 3/4 of one. You probably drank half.
Half, yeah.
It was delicious.
It
Dear
was
you,
delicious.
Ratio. There's a little plug for you.
Yeah. So I think we're going to... is there anything else that we want to say on the first episode of the Danny and Brandi Show?
I just say focus on the essential, eliminate the shit, the crap, and
eliminate the rest. It might not be crap, it might not be shit, but like eliminate.
I think you need to KonMari your life, not just things. Hold whatever it is in your life, people, work. Hobbies,
absolutely,
things in your life, food, and really bring it up to you and say, does this bring me joy?
Yes.
And if it doesn't, then
bye.
Throw it out of there.
Yeah.
Eliminate it.
Wow, so good. I'm actually getting ready. My brother, who's also my roommate, we're moving in the next month. And I'm just so excited for this transition because I'm excited to eliminate lots of things that I don't need anymore, and I'm just ready to upgrade.
I thought you were going to say you're going to eliminate your brother. No, I'm going to eliminate your brother.
No, but anyway, that's that.
Nice. Well, I think that's a great place to end, and I appreciate you spending time with us.
Yes.
And we're going to play out a little song for you. So
Yeah.
enjoy. Have a great night.
Yes.
Eliminate and focus.
Yes. Focus on the essential, eliminate the rest. Woo ding dong.
The Danny and Brandi Show brought to you by the Space Brigade.